going on? It's your boy KingKaeSo, aka Mr. Somatical. We're back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about protection and provision. I got two videos that I want you to watch, little small clips before I go into my subject. But hey, man, if you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share if you like the content, and let's get into it. Check out these two videos.
Y'all gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, because y'all always hate me anyway. Your man's main priority, main goal should always be to be the sole provider for your household. He should be the sole provider for your foundation. Now, if y'all are going 50-50 and you're supporting him while he follows his dreams, while he pours into his business, while he puts all his time, efforts, and energy into securing a financial future for you all, then I understand that, you know? But ultimately, your man should be using everything and every bone in his body to put himself in a position to care for you and your family, especially if you have children. If you're going 50-50 supporting your man, it should be temporary, and you should be rewarded for your hard work and efforts and holding them down and all of that. But ultimately, your man should be working toward making sure he has a secure future and foundation to support you, your children, your dog, your bills, your household, your maintenance, the groceries that you about to cook, all the above. That's what he should be focused on.
If you are a real man, you want to provide for your family. That's what men do when you have a family. Any man, when you have a concern as to how you're going to pay your bills,
scary time.
There is nothing worse.
So if you watch those two videos, it's nothing y'all haven't heard before. The first one was talking about provider husband, 50-50 husband. It strongly suggested that the man's supposed to protect, the man's supposed to provide, and as a woman, you should never be in that space for too long because it's just bad for a relationship. Even Stephen A. Smith, when he did his clip, main job, provide. But I just live in a day and age that I don't think that protection and provision was just a one-sided thing. And to just follow me for a second. Now, what I'm going to describe is what I believe is going to make relationships last for the long haul. The 20, the 30, the 40, the 50-year-old relationships where you see the older couples when they're still walking through the store or they're still laughing and joking with each other. I think that comes from protection and provision, but I don't think it comes from just the man doing that. I think it comes from a dual responsibility from woman and man. Now, I know it might be underwritten and it might, it's something that everybody is supposed to know, but it doesn't get stressed and it doesn't get put onto both sides of the relationship. And it almost appears as though one shouldn't start until the other does. But this is not the message that I'm going to put out there for my sons. This is not the message that I want for the future generation. And I believe if we don't change the way we talk about protection, provision, and relationships, which do lead to marriage, I think we're going to put ourselves in crazy epidemic, which we are already in as we speak, because marriage is not a topic that everybody is leading toward. And I think we would rather be complacent in just living with somebody and going through the motions as opposed to actually signing a document and going through with committing to a person. But before we do that, I'm going to break down these words, protection and provision. Now, simple definition when we look at the word protect is to keep someone or something from being harmed or lost. Now, the definitions that I'm going into, the definitions that I'm talking about, just think for a second. Now, it is a man's job to just protect by himself? I don't believe so. Now, when you look at the definition, right? Could you see yourself, or could you see a woman or your special someone keeping you from harm and keeping you from being lost? Just think of that for a second, because we just say things and words have meaning. All words have meaning. And I think some stuff that we just listen to, we just go through the motions. If something is not working and if something is not effective to the degree that it once was, we need to dissect and look at every detail, because if we do that, we'll come to find out that, oh man, I think we got it wrong, or I think we overlooked something. All right, you look at the word provision. I mean, everybody has took an English class before. I'm assuming you guys know that the provision comes from the word provide. Now, provide means to supply or make available, something wanted or something needed. Another definition is to make someone something available to have as a condition, to prepare in advance. Now, this is another simple definition. It is a man's job to protect and provide. I'm looking at this definition too, and I'm like, Just, is it just my job to just protect? Is it my job to just provide? I'm looking at the relationship that I've had with my life, having my wife. I looked at the relationships, the successful relationships between my mother and my father, those that have been in marriages and have said that they are succeeding and they're doing well. Man, protection and provision, it's not my job. It's our job. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, put it down in the comments. I believe that protection and provision should be something that both parties provide for each other. And like my background, the energy that I give to my wife through protection and provision, and the energy she gives me back is protection and provision. It keeps both our batteries charged, and those are the things that create a long-lasting relationship. So I asked ChatGPT. I'm like, yo, ChatGPT, I mean, they know everything. Yo, can you tell me if protection and provision is a man thing or a woman thing? And it's crazy because all this information is at our fingertips. We just don't use it. We just don't utilize it. So when I looked at protection and provision, AI immediately went to the fact that a relationship is a dual responsibility, is a dual effort, and both women and men have a duty to protect their spouse. So look how we can do that. And now answer me, is it just a man's job to protect and provide? Or real relationships, real marriages, long-lasting, successful ships, whatever you want to use, require both parties to be protecting and providing? So a husband can provide by creating physical safety and being willing to defend his family when necessary. Now, that is the definition that we all know of. We all know that I'm the stronger vessel. I'm supposed to make sure if there's a bump in the night, I'm supposed to go see about it. That's understandable. But look at the other bullets. I'm supposed to be able to provide emotional security, being dependable, calm, and trustworthy. If you go and look at some of the relationships where the man is aggressive, the man makes sure that no harm comes to their woman physically. Sometimes, more times than not, you look that emotional security isn't as strong as, say, the physical security, because it's easy just to put my dukes up and just say I'm going to fight and make sure nothing or nobody touches you. But emotional security is just as important. Being dependable. Define it however way you want it. Dependability can be diced and sliced depending on the relationship. Calm. Now, most of look, I don't even really need to go into this. So my father, he passed away in a heated argument between my siblings and my intermediate family, and I had made it a duty of vow that if I ever get into a spat or a back and forth with anyone, I try not to lose my cool. I think you can count on my hand every year the amount of times that I've raised my voice and I've gotten out of control. And even in my out of control, I'm self-aware and know that, okay, probably shouldn't be here too long, or don't say anything you don't mean, or don't say anything that you can't take back. Something that you say to someone that it's going to be forever embedded in your skull for a lifetime. But that's part of the protection that a husband is supposed to provide. Trustworthy. I don't really have to go into this. Some of these words is self-explanatory. But I asked my wife the other day, like, she's my wife likes to be places on time. If you're 15 minutes ahead of time, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Like, she's one of those people. But just using it as an example, she still checks with me to make sure, hey, you're going to be here, you're going to be here, you're going to be there. And then sometimes I think to myself, or I ask her, hey, when have I ever let you down? And just in anything. I might have told you that you couldn't do something if you asked, or I couldn't do something at the actual time that you asked me to do it, but I've never not given you an answer that I wasn't able to back up or to perform. Hey, but this is the protection that is part of the protection. When people say to protect and provide from a man, this is part of the protection. So in some ways, some men have thought to themselves like, hey man, I'm protecting because hey, she ain't never got hurt by nobody. But hey, have you emotionally kept her protected at the same time? Because if you're not doing that, then we're not necessarily doing our job, so to speak, when it comes to protection level from a husband. Next bullet is setting healthy boundaries around the marriage and not allowing outside people to undermine it. Now, all of these bullets could be videos by itself, if you really want to be honest. But am I creating healthy boundaries that people can't cross? I think we all have talked about the work husband, the work wife. Ask yourself, is that a healthy boundary? Do I make sure that when people try to talk about the ball and chain, or I feel like they're talking at or about my wife, am I protecting her? Like, nah, it's not like that. Like, nah, she doesn't do that. Like, nah, I think you're wrong there. Like, nah, my wife would never. Like, that's another level of protection. This is all part of the protection aspect of a man that helps, or I believe is the reasons why some relationships only last a couple years and some relationships last until you pass away. In protection, am I taking responsibility during difficult situations rather than abandoning when things get hard? I mean, do I have to go into depth? I think, when I talked to my wife, or when I knew my wife was going to be my wife, one of the things or determining factors that I looked at, and I would suggest that we all look at, especially my boys, I don't really care about how situations go when things are great. I think everybody is a great person when things are great. It's really hard to be a sourpuss when everything is going smooth. But I do need to see what you like, what your skills are like when we go through tough times. So I need to know that at your worst state, what you do when you're in that moment is things that I can handle, things that I can manage, and things that I can work on, so that even in the worst case scenario, I can handle whatever you're dishing and we can make it through all type of situations. And everything that I do, am I protecting the family's long-term interest through wise decisions? Like, you're the leader. There are scenarios where the man cannot be the leader, but I've just seen it work 99.9% of the time when you start looking at things from a long-term perspective. Your decisions are wise, and that everything that I do, and I live by this code, and everything that I do, my wife was like, even my mom's like, why do you think so far ahead? Like, you're thinking 20 steps down the road. You're thinking about things that I would never thought of. I don't know, just embedded inside of me. When I love somebody, when I care about somebody, when I care about something, the decisions that I'm making, I'm constantly updating and asking myself, is this decision in the best interest of my boys? Is this decision in the best interest of my wife? Is this decision in the best interest of my family? I don't negate the fact that men have desires, men get tempted, men through their testosterone or more sexually inclined than women. It's natural. But I believe if you walk with these bullet points, if we walk around understanding that it is just not my job to make sure that no harm comes to my wife, no harm comes to my children, but emotionally, I'm protecting her. My boundaries are healthy. Through difficult situations, I take accountability and responsibility. I don't leave or abandon things when they get hard. And I'm always making decisions that protect my family's long-term interests. I think that's the true value of protection. And I think that energy, when I send it in its totality, it creates a healthy relationship and sends a surge, which causes my wife to also protect me. And she does the same thing. She protects my emotional health and unity of the marriage. When we were young, we were taught that, oh, you're not supposed to cry, or thank you, Booby. And she brought me some coffee, or brought me back my coffee. But when we were young, when men fell, oh, stop crying, or if I give you something to cry about. It was always that tough atmosphere where expressing your emotions and being open, we were taught really not to do that. So in turn, we create this rock solid, can't nothing bother me, can't nothing harm me, to the point where some women don't even know that the things that they do affect our emotional health, because we come off as so strong, and he's never cried except for at funerals. But it is a wife's duty, and I'm here to tell y'all, if y'all didn't know that your man, your boyfriend, your husband has feelings, his feelings are just as strong as yours. And I think if we maneuver in this life and think from the perspective, hey, would I want that done to me? Or would I behave in the same way? Would I take that as a kind gesture if I did what I'm about to do to him, to me? And if you would catch feelings to it, just know that your man's probably catching feelings as well. But a wife also protects by standing up for her husband when others disrespect or undermine him. It's like a man has to protect his wife when maybe his family or friends are digging or trying to throw little seeds, throw little cracks in the foundation. It's the wife's job too as well. So when she's getting those, oh man, he ain't do this and he ain't do that, or oh man, the dogs, they all gonna cheat. Like, it's your job. Stand up. What's that song? Stand by your man. But this is your job to protection. If they didn't tell you that his protection and your protection are simultaneously important, or just as important as the other one, I'm here to tell you it does. As a woman, you are to help identify dangers, unhealthy relationships, or poor decisions that he may not see. Guy gave me a scenario, and it's like what men and how men and women think, and it's almost like synchronous to how me and my wife work. My wife will pay attention to all the details that's right in front of her, that's happening as it's happening. As a man, I don't really care about the things that are going on right now. I care about the end result, and I might see the valley heading down, as opposed to she might be just looking at the trees that are right in front of her. But together, it all works together. So when I'm doing my looking across the horizon, and I'm looking far beyond miles and feet and miles down the road, her protection is, hey, watch out for that branch, or watch out for that tree that you might trip over that. You're protecting me. That's your protection. That's your part of the relationship that makes a marriage strong, it makes a marriage healthy, and it makes a marriage go through the long haul. You create a peaceful and emotional, safe home environment. Now, we use these as weapons. Like, women might use and say to men that, oh, he don't protect me, like I don't feel safe. There's a certain peaceful, and then men like to say, oh, when I come home, all I want to hear is peace. And we take it to another degree where he's like, oh, he's telling me to shut up or I can't talk. It's not necessarily the case. You just want to create an environment where he or both of y'all would want to come home to. If there's strife in the house, if there's contention, if you can slice it with a knife in the house, it's not something that you want to come home to. It's not something that he necessarily wants to come home to. And it's not just your responsibility, because if you look at the other bullet point, I need to make wise decisions to protect my family's long-term interests. And working together, where I'm sending you my protection energy and you're sending me my protection energy, we're both like protecting, bouncing it off each other. And it's in synergy, and it's just creating such a healthy atmosphere. But it's also your job. Protect the family's reputations, protect the family's values, protect the family's relationships. So you're also not letting anybody come in. You're not letting anybody deter you. You're not letting your friends kind of paint this image of your husband as like, oh, he did this, he must be a bad person. Oh, he did this, he must be that. Oh, I don't like that, couldn't be me. It's all those instances that as a whole, if you let one thing go, it creates these cracks in the foundation of the marriage that you're building, and then you really can't have that success that everybody talks about. That's why you ever see those stories like the man has a whole bunch of money, but irreconcilable differences. It just seems like it didn't work out. Or you have those relationships And I know people may not agree with me, but nobody grows apart. If anybody grows apart, it's because they didn't take all these bullet points and put them into effect from both sides. Because still to this day, I'm still making it's a daily job. Like I protected her. It's not a past tense thing. It's a daily thing. It's a present thing. It's a verb. It's something that I have to do. Even now, I'm making decisions that are going to help my family's long-term interests. And I'm also keeping in mind that my kids are affected by all the decisions that I do. So I need to be in the house. I need to keep my family safe. I need to keep my wife's mind safe. I need to keep my wife's heart safe. Her emotions are just as important as mine are. If I do those things, for the best interest of my wife, for the best interest of my kids, and the best interest of my family, this is my job as a protection, and vice versa. The decisions that my wife makes, it all connects. Because as we work together, we're protecting each other, and then we're protecting everybody that comes from under us, and that's our 2 boys. And then whatever they do in their lives, we'll be able to protect them and give them a blueprint on how to behave, just like my mother and father did. But like I said before, protection, it's not my job. It's not my job. It's our job. So provision. Now, you watch those videos, and even Stephen A. Smith, who is like one of the best sports commentators, sports journalists that you've ever seen, even his depiction is get out there, get the money, and provide. Yes, that's what I'm supposed to do, but it's not everything that I'm supposed to do. There's so much more to that, and reciprocal. My energy, as I send it to my wife, she should be sending me provision energy back, where none of us is running dry, none of our wells is drying up, and none of us are getting so tired. Like when you hear those statements, and if you have ever made these comments, oh, I'm so tired in this relationship, that means that in some sort of way, you may be giving in one area and you're not getting what you believe needs to be reciprocated in another area, so that it fills you back up, so then you feel more inclined to want to go do. But let's go into the provision. Provision. A husband can provide by working and contributing financially according to the family circumstances. Like, hey, my dad was like, hey, if you don't work, you don't eat. It was in the Bible. Like, you gotta find some means of income, some way to be valuable outside or inside your house, so where it can bring resources to provide for your family. It's ingrained in you since caveman age. You go out and kill the mountain lion, or you kill the saber-toothed tiger, you bring it back. Here's food, here's resources to protect for my family, to provide for my family. Hey, it's just what we got to do. Second bullet point is taking initiative and accepting responsibility for important needs. Now, like I said, all of these bullet points can be videos within itself, but it's general but specific at the same time. So this is how you find your special someone. You find out through your wife, and if I'm talking about my wife, you find out through your husband what their needs are, and you ask yourself if you have the ability to provide them. Now, there's some women, as speaking from a man, that what they might need from me as far as provision, either I don't like doing, or I don't believe that I can meet or get to the extent of what they think they need. And then that almost rules me out. Like, hey, I don't think I could give you the type of provision energy, the provisional energy that you need. So it's probably in our best interest if we don't continue any further. But taking initiative means that I'm getting up and I'm going and doing it without being asked. In everything that we love and anything that we've ever wanted to do, passionate or not, you've never needed somebody to get you in motion to want to do something that you wanted to do. You just go and do it. And if in this relationship you love this partner, this protection and provision, take initiative, get up and go do it. It's really not that hard when you love the person and you're feeling the same type of energy from the other person, which inclines you to want to go do more. But you provide stability. That's my job, man. I just feel like I'm a rock. I just feel like, hey, it's my job to keep the house sturdy, and that means emotionally, mentally, physically. It's my job to lead. It's my job to encourage. Like my son, he's doing things with the internet and trying to be what I believe to be an influencer, and I'm encouraging him. Whatever my son's goals are, whatever they want to do in life, it's my job to stabilize them, lead them, encourage them, and provide direction when needed. And if I don't necessarily know where or what they need to do next, I'm still going to take the initiative and accept responsibility for helping and directing them. And it's not just money. And I think we've downplayed the role of a man to just a dollar. And it's sad. Not that it's not important, but when you just evaluate or look at a man based on his revenue or what finances he brings in, it really cuts the man short. And then it creates these relationships that are transactional and not this circle of life where I'm giving you and you're giving me, and I'm giving you and you're giving me. But man, I think it's the reason why we're so broken today in the relationships that we could have with people. We've cut them short because they didn't meet a dollar amount, or the person had the dollar amount but didn't know there was so much more to that, and it was frustrating to them because they didn't know that provision and protection wasn't just what got deposited into the account on Friday. But provision as a man, you're making sacrifices for his wife, as his family's well-being. Some of y'all may know, some of y'all don't know. I tell the story. My dad, he worked on a garbage truck, and I remember he used to slap Bengay and take ibuprofen every single day because it got to the point for 13 years, his bones, his hip was conjoined together with his leg to the point where calcium deposits was keeping his leg together because he didn't want, first he was afraid of the doctor. That's part of it. But the other part was that he didn't want to be out of commission because he had 5 sons and a daughter to take care of and a wife to feed. So it was just that determination, no sacrifice. Now, did he sacrifice a little too much? No, but he had to, maybe yes, but he had the right mindset, which is why they lasted 30 years. But he was providing money, which is important. He was taking initiative and accepting responsibility. He was providing stability, leadership. There's nothing that I couldn't go to my dad about where he couldn't give me some insight on what I needed to do next, and vice versa. I'm doing that for my boys. But in this provision, if you're just providing money and you haven't done or maybe looked at the other 3 bullets and said, hey man, am I doing this? And can I get better? Because that's what we're supposed to do. If you understand what marriage is and in protection and provision, you're constantly going to be making sacrifices. You're constantly going to be providing stability. You're constantly going to be leading because every day there's something different. You're constantly going to be encouraging. You're constantly going to providing direction. And in that, you're going to be learning your spouse, learning your children. And it's always going to be exciting because it's always going to be something new if you understand what protection and provision really is, because it's a journey. But the last point, provision. So you're looking at the bullet points. Oh man, what's a wife supposed to provide? She's supposed to be there too. Wife is supposed to provide financial contribution when appropriate and mutually agreed upon. So as long as the day is long, especially, so I'm just talking from African Americans, from black people. Black women have always worked. Now, did they work to the extremity that they're working today? No, maybe not as much, but they've always had some side gig. They've always had some side job. They always babysitted. They always did hair. Like there was always some means of work that they had to that they had to do in order to make ends meet. But mutually agreed upon is when you find out the type of person that you want to be with for the long term. You might have a person who believes that they shouldn't have to do anything, or they shouldn't have to contribute anything. And for those people, there's somebody that matches them, but they're going to provide some type of provisional energy elsewhere. But mutually agree upon what you can do, what you want to do, and then when it's appropriate, contribute. It's really not hard. So when you hear these 50-50, I shouldn't have to, but it's it's all based on the relationship. But if there's a true understanding, if there's somebody that really, I'm gonna be honest, if there's a woman that really loves you and she sees that you're working, contributing financially, you're taking initiative, you're making sacrifices, if she doesn't feel any inkling of the energy that you just sent her provisionally to want to contribute or help in any kind of way, hey man, you might have somebody that you shouldn't be with. I'm just gonna be honest, because it's got to make sense. The provisional and providing circle has to complete, because if it doesn't complete, if it's unhitched, somebody's going to be expelling energy and not receiving energy. Somebody's gonna get tired, somebody's gonna get weak, somebody emotionally, maybe even physically, mentally might just die in a relationship. And that's why these relationships don't last. But going further in provision, managing or contributing to the household and family responsibilities, that's something that you provide. Oh, I'm supposed to cook, I'm supposed to clean. It's not supposed to. Like this, these supposed to, the way we word things changes the whole idea of how we see things. When you say words like, that's just what I'm supposed to do, it turns a chore. It turns something that should be a delight that you would want to do for somebody that you love into a demand, into like this slave-like mentality. I've seen people on TikTok make food out of delight for their children and then not want to make food, or dare to say it, I can't believe that they expect the same food to be made for the husband, like, or vice versa. Or I've seen men want to give food to protect and give money to their children, and I'll be damned if she thinks she gonna get anything. But it's just, it's the wording. The words have meaning. So when you put out there in this world that a man's just supposed to be the protector and provider, and the woman doesn't have to protect and provide, some of the things I'm talking about, they say it, but they don't say it like it's, hey man, this is your thing that you should want to do too with somebody that you love. And then I think those are the things that damage the relationship, where one begats the other. Because if you're doing something, and explain to me anything in your life that you've done where when you didn't see something reciprocated when you thought it should be, that it made you want to do it more. Give me a scenario. Leave that in the comments. I would love to know what anybody has ever done for someone with an expectation like, oh man, I know that they feel the same way about me, and they would definitely going to return the favor, and you get nothing in return, and it makes you want to do it more and makes you want to do it for a lifetime. Chances are you ain't going to leave nothing like that in the comments. But last bullet point, helping her husband recognize opportunities, weaknesses, or solutions that he might overlook. Once again, it's not just providing the protection of, hey, bad relationships, bad decisions. You're also helping them provisionally. But what I can't see, you're helping me see. But all of that is a part of protection and vision. Protection and provision have always been a man and woman job. It has always been something that you're supposed to give and something that you're supposed to reciprocate at the same time. Those are the reasons why relationships last forever. Those are the reasons why you see those 30, 40, 50, 60 year marriages. And look at those relationships that have lasted 30, 40, 50 years. And this is my last point. My mom, even in my father's passing, still to this day receives protection and provision from my father. And go back and look at if your grandmothers or anybody has been married or where the man had. My grandmother on my mother's side, father bought the house. In his death, my grandfather was protecting my grandmother even after death. Protection or provision, what they say, energy is neither lost or consumed. If I keep sending it, really is my last point. I really got to cut this because the video is going to be long. If I'm sending you energy and you're sending me energy and I'm sending you energy and I'm sending, and then I'm sending you and you're sending me and you're sending you and sending me, the energy lasts for a lifetime and even lasts in your passing. And it's phenomenal. So I can't understand why you hear these comments where or men might say, well, I don't need nobody, I do this all by myself. And women say, I don't need no man, I can do this all by myself. Look at these definitions and look at these like awesome things that you get when somebody is living with you. Why would you want to pass out on that? And why would you want to do those things for yourself? So protection and provision is not my job. It is not a man's job. It is not a woman's job. It is not a wife's job. It is a husband and wife's job. And as the two do it together, as the two keep giving, receiving, the love goes stronger, the relationship gets tighter. And I think that is the reason why relationships last as long as they do. They're productive and even set an example and go past and last for eternity. You almost become a legend. But that's what I got for today. Hey man, if you like the video, feel free, like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment about anything that you heard about today. I'll catch you guys later. It's your boy KingKaeSo. Peace.